Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I will be showing you guys how to render plated folds and where to place your shadows and how to understand your light source, where it come from, and how to understand and where to place your highlights. For first illustration I am using simple box pleated dress. First of all, we just need to render the illustration, and if you think your illustration is too dark, then you can erase it a little bit and then use your color, and I'm using 135 pale cherry pink. You can use any type of colors like watercolor, pencil colors, and anything you have. Basically you just have to color your base. For this illustration I'm not using the same exact color like shown in the picture, because in this illustration I am showing you guys how to render your shadows and where you place your shadows and highlights. Your base color is ready, then you can use your same base color as for your shadows. You have to color your mid shadow areas and folded areas with same color, because when you want your shadows to be a little darker, then you can color it with a little darker color, or mid size of your folds and front sides of your fold will be little bit of have shadows, not that much. First you have to remember that your first shadow base has to be with light color, because in this you can just change your shadows like how you want and where you want to place them and where you want them to be darker or little lighter. Don't color everything with your shadow color. If you don't know how to place your shadows, then you can just color your corners of a dress, because it will show your shadows a little bit, and it's a tip for beginners. You can't just color every line with your shadow color, because it will look unnatural and not professional at all. Or to give it a realistic look, you have to understand where your light source come from and then place your shadow. As you can see in this illustration, I am not coloring everything with my base color because I am showing highlights to be placed. And as you can see in the picture, that three middle pleats does not have that much of a shadow because light source come directly at them, and because of it they don't have that much of a shadow. Arrow shows where my light source come from and where my highlights should be. And as you can see, if your light source come from left side, then your highlighted area will be left and your shadow area will be right. You have to remember that when you draw plated dress or folded dresses, then to place your shadow under your pleats and your folds. For upper part, you have to place your shadow under your bust area. When your folded area is not darken enough, then you can just apply one more coat of your base color. This illustration I used Stadler Luna watercolor pencil. I used peach color pencil for my shadow and grey color. I thought that my peach color will match my base color, but it did not match at all. But somehow I managed it and placed and blend my color with shadow area. So as you can see, it does not show that much of uneven color. So as you guys does not want to make same mistakes, you have to apply your pencil previously with your base color or your shadow color area. Don't apply it directly on your sketch or illustration, or it will ruin it. Use your peach color pencil for mid shadow area. Then use your gray color pencil for darkest areas like your pleated plates area, your bust area, and where your light source does not reach at all, like back of your skirt and end of your skirt. Understand how to place your shadows. Basically, you have to see a lot of photos with different angles of your light source and etc. Don't just imagine it and place your shadows like everywhere, because that will look unnatural. It will not look good at all. Illustration is basically for beginners who does not know how to place their shadows. Because of it, I did not make my illustration really hi-fi or anything. Really basic and simple, so you can understand and know your illustration, where to place your shadows and anything.
Time for a love potion, a little sweet and spice. Throw it all in a cauldron, mix it up real nice. Fire in my eyes, stir counterclockwise. I dream of you all night. Fill with devotion, follow the signs. With this devotion, you will be all mine. I'm pulling you closer to me. You're finding it harder to breathe. The magic is taking over your mind entirely. I'm the only one that you see. I got what you want, what you need. Before you know it, you are falling in love with me. Little sweet spice. Made a love potion for you.
This is my second illustration, and in this illustration I used knife pleated dress, and for color I used watercolor. Used fiber castle emerald green color with lots of water and little bit of a color. As you can see, I am not using any watercolor paper or marker paper for this sketch. I am basically using a simple coloring book you can find anywhere. Just first apply your base coat with lots of water and little bit of a color. Just don't use lots of water that your paper can't absorb. Then let it dry, and then use your pencil colors for your shadow areas, or you can just apply second coat of your color for your shadow areas. If you want to use second coat of watercolor, then you have to use thick paper or watercolor paper, so that paper will not bulk like this one. You have to use your shadow color really wisely, and to understand that your base color and your shadow color really match in hue. Don't just use any color pencil that you think is matching the color, because it does not match. Basically, you just have to apply your shadow color with your base color first and understand. First, outline dark area with your shadow color. Don't press your pencil too hard, because we want to have a little bit of a color for shadow area. Not like we want everything with our shadow color or really dark places or smudge proof. We want our highlights to be seen clearly, and if we use our pencil really darkly, then we can't use and we can't erase it like when we want a little lighter, or any place we want no much that of a shadow. As you can see in the picture, we have our light source come from the front view, so we place our highlights on every pleats We don't use that much of a dark color for shadows for front plates. We can just darken the back plates like we want, but we can't color dark in our front plates because light source come directly at them. You have to remember that even if your light source come from front or side view or anywhere, your folded area will have a little bit of a darkness or a shadow in it if the plates are stuck together or are near each other really closely. For upper part of your dress, you have to color your side areas for with bust. You can't color your front area. You can just color your both ends of a dress. You have to shade really lightly for your first shadow base color. Then you can use second coat of shadow color for your folded area. You have to remember that always use pencil color really lightly when you are confirmed that you want your shadow color really dark and where it will be placed, then you can use your pencil for little darker, but just don't always use darker tone. Use really light tone for beginning, then lightly go higher, because you can go light to dark but you can't go dark to light really that easily. So just use light to dark because it is easy to use and easy to handle. I first color really lightly each folded area. Then when I was confirmed I don't want any more dark middle shadow, then I used my dark tone for darkest areas. Even for this tone I used really light pressure because I did not want to damage my illustration. I can just erase it if I don't want that much of a color. If I use too much color, then I can't erase it and it will not look good. And you can see in this illustration where my highlights are, my mid shadow areas are, and where my dark shadow areas are. And I did not do anything. I just use picture as my reference and see where my light source come from, and then use my shadow areas and where my highlights will be placed and where should I place my shadows. You have to keep seeing the photo references to understand your light source method because it is really important in the illustrations. If you does not understand where your light source come from, then you can't illustrate your sketch really good or it will not look good. Well then, bye guys. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you in next tutorial.